My name is Fernando Marengo Rodriguez. I'm Dr. Fernando Marengo Rodriguez, and I'm about to show you here the results after a heart rate variability biofeedback training. We already talked about this training, which has different protocols. This training is a useful tool for those who want to bring balance to the autonomic nervous system and reduce anxiety, stress, and depression in just 5 weekly sessions with no side effects. And just 10 days of daily practice is enough to make progress. So, and to make a lasting change, which is really extraordinary. So basically what we propose here is to show any other person how to breathe at the right pace so that they recover the balance in their autonomic nervous system, and with the right breathing pace, for instance inhaling for 5 seconds and exhaling for 5 seconds, 10 minutes of daily practice, with the right breathing pace, they can just not only feel a relief but also make a lasting change so that their autonomic nervous system is already balanced along the day. So it may sound crazy, but 10 minutes of daily practice has an impact on the rest of the day. So through this training with our system, the ENSA biofeedback heart rate variability system, we show the people how to breathe at different paces, and according to the breath rate they get a certain variance in the heart rate variability. On average, the slower and the more connected we breathe, the more our heart rate varies. So when we inhale slowly and exhale slowly, the heart rate goes from a minimum, a very little minimum, to a very high maximum. So after we show the clients how to breathe at different paces, they discover about more information about the resonance frequency. I mean, the ideal breathing pace that maximizes the state of peace in the autonomic nervous system. Let me show you in a technical report after a session how it works. So, for instance, as you can see here, we have the baseline, and the baseline means that we just measure the heart rate. As you can see here in blue, the upper panel, the heart rate varies in a random way. It looks like a noisy signal, right? As a consequence, the heart rate variability, I mean the state of peace, is in the red zone. It is not maximum, it is very low in fact. That's why this person was already having so much anxiety. And here in the bottom right corner we can see, bottom right panel, we can see the spectrum of the heart rate. Since the heart rate is not looks like a noisy signal, the spectrum is also like a noisy signal. Okay, so what happens in the other cases? When the person starts to breathe at a certain pace, for instance inhaling for 5 seconds and exhaling for 5 seconds, when that happens, the heart rate goes from a maximum to a minimum, and then to a maximum and a minimum again. So it has some kind of rhythm here, and this is natural. And the person already stated that she started to feel much better after this practice. So when she inhales, the heart rate increases, and when she exhales, the heart rate decreases, right? So the state of peace, although it is in the red zone, it is higher than in the previous case with normal breathing. And the spectrum, as you can see here, it has a peak here on around 0.2 Hertz. Then I will explain more details about this. But the important thing is that it has a peak. And when the peak is already there, it means that the person is already breathing at a certain rhythm. At a certain rhythm. This is very, very important. What happens in the other case? For instance, inhale in 5 seconds, exhale in 5 seconds. As you can see, there's also rhythm. The heart rate decreases when the person exhales and increases when the person inhales. And the score of HRV, which is a state of peace, although it is in the red zone, it starts to increase. It is higher than in the previous case. And this is in resonance, this is consistent with her feelings. She said in this test that she felt more relaxed after this practice. And you can see the peak, the spectrum, that was previously at 0.2 Hertz, now it is at 0.16 Hertz, right in the middle of the transition between the low frequency and the high frequency zone. And then what happens? Well, she continued to do the practice with pursed lips, right? Exhaling like, okay? When you exhale like this, you can exhale for a longer period of time, and the experience is more natural for the person. And she said she felt more at ease at the end of this practice. So what happens in other cases? She said, oh, I would like to exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. We did a test. Inhale in 4 seconds, exhale in 6 seconds. As you can see, this is when the person inhales, and this is when the person exhales. And the score is even higher of heart rate variability. It's starting to get into the violet and green zone. And the peak is also very remarkable here, similar to a previous case. But this case, she said it is more natural to her. And this is wonderful. Finally, what happens when we include the auditory stimulation of the vagus nerve in this case? This is something really interesting, because the person, in all the previous cases, she was following a breath pacer visually. Breath pacer was already moving like this and like this. Inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale, right? In this case, with auditory stimulation of the vagus nerve, she could close her eyes and she could follow her own natural breathing pace. And this is sustainable, because when the person starts to do that, she can continue on her own without depending on any other device. This is the most important thing, to be sustainable in the results. So the first time she was looking at the pacer, and the rhythm was already very good in the heart rate, as you can see. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling. And then here she started to close her eyes. She started to connect with her own natural breathing pattern. This signal has a certain rhythm. It is not as clean as the first part of the signal in the heart rate. However, the main thing is that she closed her eyes and she managed to connect with her natural breathing pattern and maintain the rhythm that we expect. In the next sessions, in the following sessions, she continued to connect with her natural breathing pace. And it's been 3 sessions since this person started this training, and she got extraordinary results. So that's why I wanted to share this with you, because this is a result of a biofeedback training and of a technical report that our system processes, and it shows not only the objective results, I mean the average heart rate and the average state of peace encoded in the heart rate variability, but it also compares those variables to the the subjective feelings of that person, how she was feeling after, during, and after each of these tests. So nowadays, this person is retired, and she, for the first time in her life, she started to become free of her own judgment to other people. Before this training, she said that she was expecting all the time that other people do certain things. After this training, after just the first session, she said that she felt a shift like this, and she started to put expectations on other people. So now she's all the time with much less anxiety, and she is smiling more frequently, and she feels more at ease. So if a retired person could do this with just one single session, and she started to she kept these results for good, and she continued to make progress in this. If a retired person could do that, anyone can do that. So I hope this makes sense. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll be happy to know more about this. My name is Fernando Marengo Rodriguez, Doctor of Engineering, Holistic Coach, Biofeedback Training, and together with my partner Gianni Anselmo, we developed this ENSA biofeedback solution that provides a lasting change. Thank you, and have a blessed day.